Morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
And I would like to introduce our speaker. We have Mary Moore from Dawson Employment Agency with us today. Mary has been a great partner along with Dawson for the last several years at DACC, helping with a number of different experiences for our students for workforce development. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. So we are going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn, the platform, and why that is so important. So let's just jump right in. Let's start with why LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the most powerful social media channel for professionals and the digital home of your personal brand. Microsoft bought LinkedIn in 2016, which brought increased exposure and importance. And just for reference, this is the definition of your personal brand. So it's how you promote yourself. It's the unique combination of skills, experience, and personality that you want the world to see. It's the telling of your story. So it gives you, in essence, the opportunity to control that story. And again, helps you establish and control your online presence. LinkedIn really is the tool that is going to allow you to control what people see about you on the internet. So if someone were to Google your name, if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's going to be the first thing that comes up when someone Googles your name. So LinkedIn really gives you the control. If there's if you get concerned or worried about maybe you're interviewing for a job and are they going to Google you and other social media sites you might have, by having that LinkedIn profile, that's going to put you in control of what they see and that brand of yourself that you put forward. This is the largest professional networking site available. It's an invaluable resource tool, and it just really makes staying connected that much easier. You can think of it as your storefront for your personal brand. So as far as business, social media is going to help you grow your business. So by connecting with other people in the same industry, by liking their comments, following them, it's going to make those connections for you and in addition, widen your reach, which is really the goal with LinkedIn, is to widen your reach, which, without LinkedIn, it really wasn't possible before the platform. So you have the ability to really widen your reach wider than we've ever had before. So it's really something you want to take advantage of. So, it's important, it's going to be the way that you control your personal brand. So now let's talk a little bit about how you go about creating that LinkedIn profile and walking you through those steps. So these are really the areas of focus. There are several other areas you can kind of jump into and create and make your own and personalize, but these are really the areas of focus when you are initially creating that profile. Of course, first and foremost is going to be that professional profile picture. Someone I think said it best, a bad picture is better than no picture at all. It really just makes it look more professional, looks like you are engaged in the platform. So it really is a crucial step. A lot of times people say I don't have a professional headshot, and that's perfectly fine. Graduation photos are a good opportunity to get a nice picture, maybe with a plain background, or just stand in front of a blank wall and have someone take a picture of you professionally dressed. But it really is crucial to your profile. These are just a few examples of Dawson colleagues who have professional profiles. So that profile picture makes a big difference. It's going to increase your connections. you're going to get more views and more messages. So again, it just shows a level of engagement on the platform and really does make a big difference. So this is an area where you can kind of personalize, show a little bit of your personality, be a little creative. That background image, a lot of people ignore this area, and it's really a shame because it can really differentiate you from others. So this is kind of a little peek into what makes you you. This is one of my favorite features. Because people who use it well, it's just a little peek inside of what interests them, what they're all about, maybe the industry they're in. Several sites offer these images for free, and they are listed there. And this one is street signs in a big city. So maybe that's someplace he wants to be, or someplace that he likes to be, or maybe where he wants to work is on Wall Street. But it's something that gives a little peek into what you're about. Here's a few other examples of background images. Again, you see the ocean. These don't have to be overly complicated images, just something that gives a little peek into you. The other one is IT, and then we have someone speaking to a crowd. So that just maybe tells you a little bit more about that person and what makes them them. So for your headline, the headline is a wonderful opportunity to impress. This is a valuable space that you do not want to ignore. Listing a job title is perfectly fine. A lot of people do that, but don't stop there. Add another attribute to help you stand out. Again, this is something to really take advantage of. It can describe just a little bit about you, maybe in brief, 3 to 4 word sentences, no more than 220 characters. And here's an example of one listed here. Here are a few more examples. As you can see, nothing super complicated, just a few little brief ways to explain maybe what they do or who they are or what they're passionate about. So next is going to be your summary. A summary can be a little bit, it can make you a little nervous. Maybe you're just not sure about what to put here because this is kind of where you're going to put a little more explanation into what makes you you, what you're about, your experiences, your aspirations. This you want to be in first person. Focus on career accomplishments and aspirations. So this, breaking it down makes this a lot easier and a lot less scary. So, that first sentence, of course, is going to be attention grabbing, something that kind of makes people want to read more. And then a few sentences highlighting accomplishments, projects. Maybe you did something at school that you're proud of. Maybe you volunteer for a particular group that you're proud of. And then maybe something that speaks to your future. You might say, looking to be starting Ohio State University in fall of 2021. So aspirations can be put in there as well. And then a closing statement, just kind of wrapping up a little bit more about you and maybe what your goal is or where you're headed. Max here is 2,000 characters. And here are some examples. So these are very different. I wanted to highlight a few differences, a few different ways to do this. So you can see with the first one there, recent grad of Miami University, a little bit about where he's been, where he's worked, what he's passionate about, and then in that final sentence, I'd love to connect with you. So kind of throwing in that, tying it all up, like reach out or connect or I'm looking for something along those lines. The second one is a student who's currently in school. So she says where she's from, where she's going to school, why she kind of chose that area, what her research and career interests are. So obviously from a student's perspective, it's going to be a little bit more about where you've been, where you are right now, and what the future, you hope the future to be. So it's perfectly fine to, be a student and maybe not have that professional summary career-wise, but you can still make a great summary that explains who you are, where you've been, and where you hope to go. The next area is skills. So skills are what you are capable of. It's kind of like what you'd put on your resume. Maybe you are good at communication, or you're a good writer, or you work well in a team. Those things that you put on your resume are what you would list here. You want to put your top skills at the top of the list. So the things that you feel you are the best at would go at the top. And you want to, just as you would on your resume, have a good mix of soft skills and technical skills. No more than 35 in total, but members with 5 or more skills are found more frequently. And just a tip about LinkedIn, if you list skills, if someone were to do a search just on, let's say you want to find somebody who has maybe Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Suite, and you search for that, you will not appear in that search unless someone endorses that skill. So it's great to list the skills, but then reach out for those endorsements as well, like to your teachers or maybe to people you've worked with in the past. Just something I think is interesting, in 2020, the top soft skills were creativity, adaptability, emotional intelligence. The top hard skills were computer skills and presentation skills, which I think that pretty much sums up 2020 in a nutshell. So next are recommendations. So endorsements and recommendations are a little bit different. So an endorsement is someone just checking a box and saying, yes, I feel that this person can do this skill. Whereas a recommendation is someone writing, like, it's almost like a letter of reference. They're writing a testimonial saying that, yes, I've worked with this person. They're great at this, this, and this. Or maybe I have had this student for 2 years and I think that they are a fabulous communicator, or they're great at working in a team. But this is somebody who is making a recommendation on your part. Don't be afraid to ask for either one of these things, for endorsements or recommendations. This is very common on LinkedIn, and people receive these things every day, all day long, especially if you've worked with someone, or you've maybe been in their class, or it's a relationship you formed over years. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for these things. So the next thing that's going to kind of set your profile apart and make it a little bit more professional is customizing your LinkedIn URL. So when you create a profile, you will get an auto-generated LinkedIn profile number, which is that second one with the red X. That is what is going to initially be your profile. So if someone were to say, what's your LinkedIn profile? And you could say, oh, 453673. That's not going to make any sense. It's going to be a lot easier if you edit that and make it your name. Maybe it's first name, last name. Maybe it's first initial, last name. Maybe it's first name, last name, and a number. It just depends on what's available. I know just my name wasn't available, so I had to put a number after it, which is perfectly fine. But if someone were to search my name, they would be able to find my LinkedIn URL just by my name. So ideally, you want to use some combination of your full name, depending on what is available. But that's so much easier for someone to find you as opposed to the auto-generated number that LinkedIn creates. And it's super easy to change and takes 2 seconds. So it's an easy step. Next is going to be your newsfeed. So when you, kind of like when you're on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media, you have a newsfeed. LinkedIn is going to automatically default to top stories, top news feeds. And when you jump on there, it's going to look like you're seeing the same story over and over again. If you go up and reset this and say sort by recent, then you're going to see them in chronological order, which makes your newsfeed a lot more current and up to date. It's going to allow you to stay up to date with your connections a lot more. So you definitely, it isn't something that you can set forever. You do have to reset this frequently. So if I were to jump on LinkedIn today, kind of leave it up, and then maybe come back tomorrow, I would have to reset this again. But it's super quick. It takes 1 second. It's right at the top of your feed. You just hit that little drop down, click most recent, and then you're seeing them in chronological order. So again, your online brand. That is the crucial step to LinkedIn, is your online brand. You can focus on the build and promote your online brand. Of course, there's other ways to do that as well. You can do that beyond LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, personal websites, and a lot of students have personal websites. You can tie the two together. You can list those on your LinkedIn profile so they kind of tie together, if you should want to do that. If maybe your Instagram is not super professional, then I would not recommend that. A few other things to do to keep your LinkedIn looking professional is if you're open and looking for employment, you can change your profile to say open to job opportunities. If you're currently working and you're looking for other opportunities, there's a way to set it in the background so it's maybe the people you don't want to see it would not be able to see it, but people who are looking for job candidates would be able to find you. And also, don't be afraid to show your personality on your LinkedIn profile. It really is a creative tool that you can use to your advantage. So another way to connect and kind of widen your circle and your reach is by joining groups. There are groups for anything and everything you could possibly think of on LinkedIn. This is just a way to increase your exposure. So anything you could think of, there is a group for. If there is a certain industry you're interested in, I would search on that, maybe accounting, as you can see is the first one listed there. HR, maybe it's a certain area, maybe, it's New York or California. So there's groups for anything and everything. And the more of those you join, the more networking opportunity you're going to have. So the other really important part about LinkedIn is engagement. So we see a lot of times people will create a LinkedIn profile and it's there, but maybe it's not completely done all the way. It's not completed. The kind of crucial steps we went over, maybe 2 of them are done. It just looks not finished. And then maybe you're just not connecting. You're not sharing or commenting on others. You're not really using the tool to network effectively. So it's really important that you engage frequently with LinkedIn. So, complete those steps to complete the profile, make it look professional. Get the profile picture, have a little headline. It just looks more professional when it is kind of completed, at least in those first initial steps that we mentioned. Also, share, like, comment on other people's statuses is a terrific way to stay engaged. It's only going to help you more when you share or like someone's post or comments or articles. They're going to do the same for you. And that's especially important when it comes to getting those endorsements or recommendations. The easiest way to get endorsements or recommendations is to provide them yourself. So if I am giving someone an endorsement on a certain skill, they're more likely to turn around and then give me an endorsement. I've had several colleagues who maybe with other team members have created like endorsement challenges, like who can get the most endorsements and who can give the most endorsements. So LinkedIn is very much a tool about connecting and networking and kind of helping each other. So the more you do that, the more it's going to help you on that profile. You can also follow influencers. Maybe there's someone whose career or accomplishments you really admire, and that's kind of your goal. Following them and maybe liking the groups that they like or following the companies that they follow. It's a great way to look at the people who you kind of want to mirror and kind of follow what they do and what they're talking about. And it really is a great tool for research as well. How did they get where they are? What path did they follow? Maybe it's something you could look at to kind of focus your career on that same pathway. So these are kind of the ideal recommendations on that engagement piece. So if you're just creating a profile, you're just starting this on this platform, this is the recommendation for your level of engagement. So 1 to 2 times per day, like or comment on someone else's newsfeed. So it's just a thumbs up or a congratulations. Sometimes LinkedIn will even provide like recommendations for you. They'll say, do you want to congratulate so-and-so on a new position? Do you want to congratulate so-and-so on a 5-year anniversary with this company? So it almost gives you ideas of what you could do. So that's 1 to 2 times per day. Invite 2 to 5 people to connect as well. So that's just reaching out to maybe friends, teachers, classmates, like I said, other maybe influencers you want to follow or are interested in. That's just making that connection super easy as well. And then as you get more comfortable, post an update to your own newsfeed once per week. And again, you can build up to this. Maybe the first week you're just liking or commenting. And then the second week, maybe you post a link to an article you thought was interesting, or maybe you saw something somebody else posted and wanted to post that as well. That's perfectly fine. As you use LinkedIn, you will get more comfortable. So if you just start with that 1 to 2 times per day liking or commenting, after a week or 2 of that, you're going to start feeling more comfortable. And just a pro tip, when you are posting an update, no more than 3 hashtags per update. I know we've all seen the updates with 20, 25 hashtags, but really the professionals recommend no more than 3. And the best times to post when you are ready are weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And the best days are Tuesday and Thursday. Obviously, I'm sure we could all guess the worst times are the weekends. People just aren't really jumping on their LinkedIn on Saturday and Sunday. So if you are going to post, those are the ideal times. So I took a professional LinkedIn workshop, and they give you a first 30-day challenge. So as I mentioned just in the last slide, like or comment 1 to 2 times per day, 2 to 5 new connections per day, and post an update once per week is the ideal engagement. So again, you can work up to that. The first 1 or 2 weeks, I think I was just liking or commenting 1 to 2 times per day and maybe trying to make a few more connections, and then eventually working up to that post. But if you look at your profile, like today, right now, if you have one, and you can see the number of people who have viewed your profile, I have a little arrow there to that number. If you make a note of it the first day of your 30-day challenge, and then come back and look at it again after those 30 days, I guarantee it's going to be significantly different. So when I started this challenge, I had just started LinkedIn. I think my number of views was around 30. And then after the 30-day challenge, just following those steps, you can see there I was at 147. So pretty significant jump for not really a lot of effort. I mean, it took me maybe less than 10 minutes every day to just do the challenge, but it made a pretty significant difference. You can see there, and just really helps you with those connections and the networking part of it as well. But it was a fun little challenge, and I challenge you guys to do the same. It's a fun little game, and maybe you guys can compare numbers with other students and see who can get a bigger increase after the 30 days. So I know that was a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions? I'm happy to take.